Hey guys, so today we are going to do the, sorry, there's a cat over here and she's untrustworthy. We're going to do the long-awaited movie collection part 2. Apologies this took so long. I had a couple of weekends that were taken out of my control. Hold on, this cat is being a jerk. Sorry, the cat is a jerkwad. Actually, we have two jerkwad cats, and they're both, I was hoping they were going to stay asleep, and then one of them decided to come see what I was doing, and immediately started knocking stuff off the table. Anyways, I had a weekend stolen because my wife was homesick, and then, it was my daughter's birthday, and, my in-laws planned a weekend trip all of a sudden, so I was not able to do much of anything. Another reason it's a little late is right after I shot that first video, I moved a whole bunch of DVDs around, so I had more space for my Commander decks. So I basically took what used to be a DVD shelf, moved all the movies, and then filled it in with Commander decks, which I have too many of. So, after that I wasn't sure which movies I had featured on the first video, and I didn't want to, rehash stuff, so took me a little while. So we're gonna do one more set of movies. I probably have enough movies, honestly, for one or two more eventually here when I can pull them out of where they currently are, because right now I have them in a cabinet and they're like, 3 or 4 deep. So it is a little bit of a hassle to get to it and move them, especially while trying to keep the cats out of the cabinet, because they do tend to like to go in there, and then I'll come home and some DVDs or CDs will be on the ground because they kind of fell over them. Anyways, first up, and I'm dusting it off right now because it was I think it was on the top shelf here. First up, we have Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. This is a movie that they did. Let me dust this a little bit more. Dusty. There we go. This is a movie they did a theatrical release of back when Batman the Animated Series was on TV. I think this was pretty early on, like maybe after season 1 or 2. It did not do well in the theaters. I know I had a birthday party and we went to see it maybe in, I want to say 6th grade, and me and my friends and my dad were about the only people in the theater. So, even though the show was very popular, the movie did not do well. So that was it for the theatrical releases. It has the classic cast, so Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill. And if you've never seen it, it is really worth watching. It's a great movie. A lot of twists and turns. The musical score is great. I had the soundtrack on a cassette for the longest time. And I played a couple of the songs so much that the cassette is warped now. But really great film if you like the animated series. It's been so long, I don't know if I'd say the animation is any better from what you get on the series. I think it's about the same, but as far as a plot and everything, it is worth the watch. We'll keep the theme going here as I dust this one off. This is 89 Batman. Probably, in my opinion, the best Batman movie. While I love the Christopher Nolan films, Michael Keaton Batman is just, for my generation, it's just ingrained in our zeitgeist. Just this because, like, Batman. Um, this is my DVD copy. I did just recently get a 4-disc Blu-ray set, so I have it on Blu-ray now. But I mean, this is just classic. This is my Batmobile. This is the classic Batman. It's, oh, I think my cat has just gotten into the movie area. Hold on. Okay, love-hate relationship with this cat right now. She's trying to get into everything. I think, I can't remember if I saw this at the theater or not. I want to say I'd be too young because I was like 7. But, if you're an 80s child, you know that parenting, especially around movies, was not as strict as it is now. I saw plenty of PG-13 and R-rated movies that were inappropriate at a younger age because our parents were just like, whatever. It was a different time. I do remember going to the theater at least and getting a poster because I have a large Michael Keaton Batman poster, like, the movie size, and it's basically just him in the bat suit, standing there holding the grappling hook. It's freaking sweet. And if anything, it might have this, or maybe just the bat symbol on the bottom. But I mean, there was so much swag when this movie came out. I still have that somewhere. One day I'll frame that thing because it's beautiful. But so that's 89 Batman. Next one. I'm trying to keep my blood pressure low because this cat is she is pushing it. Jesus. This one I know we saw in the theater, and I know that it was inappropriate for our age at the time. I'm pretty sure my dad took me and my brother to see Batman Returns, and as we all know, the kind of classic tale of this movie is that it's PG-13, and it's a little much for younger audiences. Trying to find the date here, the small print, 1992, so that must be right. So I would have been 10, and my brother was about 7, so, I think I was okay with it, but I think he was a little freaked out, which is understandable. But I know we went to the theater for this one. Great film, honestly. It's just, at the time, they wanted something a little bit more kid-friendly. They being the studio, not anybody as far as a fan, I don't think. And instead we got more Tim Burton Batman. And, I wish they had done a third one, because obviously after this it started just going downhill. But, that was the last Tim Burton Batman that we actually got. Let's see, next up we have Dredd, which is the good Judge Dredd movie, if you haven't seen it. They did have that Sylvester Stallone movie from the, mid-90s, and they had toys, and they had a video game. That movie sucked. I never even saw that movie. The fact that Judge Dredd had his mask off the entire film was ridiculous. The visuals, it looked like they put some money into it, but that was not what Dredd fans wanted or were hyping for. This, on the other hand, stars Carl Urban from the Lord of the Rings and the new generation Star Trek films, and he keeps this helmet on the entire time, and he is shooting people the entire time, and there's lots of slow-mo shots, so if you are a Judge Dredd fan or just like action movies, this is a really good one to give a chance on if you've never seen it. are a Judge Dredd fan or just like action movies, give this one a look. They've been talking about a sequel to this thing for honestly years now. This came out in 2012. We're 13 years later and we still haven't gotten a sequel. I don't think we will at this point, but really good, fun film. Next, from the before time of Marvel movies, we have Daredevil with Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner. I forget if this is when, I don't think they were married yet, right? They probably met on this film. This is before we had Marvel Studios, so this is looks like 20th Century Fox. They had Daredevil and the X-Men movies, and I mean, it's okay. It's not nearly as good as the Daredevil TV show turned out to be. There's a great Daredevil documentary on here called The Men Without Fear about a lot of the Daredevil creators, the writers and the artists over the years. That is top notch. That I've watched more than the film itself, I believe. It has interviews with Stan Lee, Kevin Smith, Frank Miller, Gene Colan, John Romita Sr., John Romita Jr., just a smorgasbord of, and Brian Michael Bendis, obviously, but just all those creators and really interesting stuff. It's about an hour-long documentary. That one, I think you can find it on Disney Plus nowadays, and I think most of it's on YouTube also. So if you're a fan, check that out. But I mean, the visuals in this film were pretty well done. This also had the Evanescence song "Bring Me to Life" on the commercials, and that was like peak 2000s pop culture. But I mean, it was okay. I think they tried to shove too much into it. Having Elektra and Bullseye was one thing, but you try to shove the Kingpin in there also. In a first movie, it's a little much. And honestly, I didn't much like this Bullseye look. I mean, Colin Farrell plays it way too tongue-in-cheek. Michael Clark Duncan, the late Michael Clark Duncan, he's big enough for the role, but there isn't much for him to do, so it's really mostly just Elektra and Daredevil. But, worth a watch if you've never seen it. Let's see, next we have The Amazing Spider-Man. I remember I didn't see any of these in theater, because I was a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man fan, and then these came out, and it was like, why are we starting over? I did watch them later on DVD, and the first one's rather good. I don't much like the costume design. I think it was a little too out there, but honestly, I think poor Andrew Garfield got the short end of the stick. I really enjoyed his version of Peter. I think it was more in line with Ultimate Spider-Man, and we actually got Gwen Stacy in a real role there, rather unlike the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. So I liked this one. Obviously nowadays with the new Marvel Spider-Man movies, it is worth watching these before you watch those if you've never seen them. And then let's see, we have the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 3. And we all know what went wrong with this one. Let me dust it off. We just had too many characters. Very much like the late Batman movies where they would just shove 20 different characters into a movie. That's Spider-Man 3, I think, was the first one where we had character fatigue, and I think that's kind of I think they use this a lot of the time as this is what too many characters is. We had Sandman, we had Green Goblin, we had Venom, it's, honestly, I don't think you could do a whole movie with Spider-Man and Sandman, but you could do a whole movie with, you know, um, Harry Osborn, Green Goblin. You could do a whole movie with Venom. So to shove that all together was too much, just too much. And I remember at the time we were so hyped for this movie. I went to a WonderCon, I think the year before it came out must have been searching for a year, 2007, damn. So it must have been like '06. And I went early to the hall that they were going to play the first trailer. And believe me, when they showed that trailer and they showed the clock tower and then the Venom goop coming down and making Venom, we were all stoked until you found out that Venom was going to be played by that skinny kid from that '70s show, and then it was kind of nobody was happy there. so that's Spider-Man 3. And of course, Spider-Man 2, probably everybody's more or less favorite of the Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. One villain, Dr. Octopus, classic villain. You get a lot more of the relationship stuff here. And let's see, we also this is the one also where Tobey kind of isn't sure if he wants to continue being Spider-Man. So you got the Spider-Man No More plus the Dr. Octopus stuff. You got the amazing train sequence. All that stuff. So great film. If you're gonna watch Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, I guess you have to watch number 3 because it closes out some of those character arcs. But 1 and 2 are really, watch number 3 because you have to watch number 1 and 2 for enjoyment. And to close out the trilogy, here's Spider-Man 1. I should probably get these on Blu-ray at some point. Nope, we lost a piece of the case here. It's that old. I saw this in the theaters. I was so excited to see a good Spider-Man film in the theater. And me and my wife now, girlfriend at the time, we were going with her roommate and her roommate's boyfriend. And her roommate's boyfriend that morning decided that he needed some sort of snack or food before we went. But he was very indecisive. So eventually we get him a snack, and then we try to find parking for the theater. And there really wasn't any parking. And so we go around and around, and finally we find the space. And we run in there, and the only seats are that first, either the first or the second row in the front. And I do not sit in the front. You can't see the freaking screen. So the entire film, I was seated basically laying back, neck crunched, body contorted, just to try to watch this film. That was the last time we invited that man to come to the movies with us. Because it was like, look, man, I've waited literally my entire life to see this Spider-Man movie. Feed yourself before we come pick you up. So that was it for his being invited to the movies. Let's see, next up we have Thor. And I'll warn you, this is going to be probably Marvel heavy because a lot of these were just in my superhero area. This is the first Thor where they had poor Chris Hemsworth dye his hair, including his eyebrows, so that he would be blonder, because he just had to be the most blondie on Earth to be playing Thor. They didn't trust him to have dirty blonde hair, and it's really noticeable in some scenes. But this was a good way, honestly, to bring Thor into the real world. I mean, look how white his face is there, because they made him bleach his eyebrows. I took our cousin to see this in theater, and we really liked it. It was great. Um, you know, I wish I had the physique of Chris Hemsworth in Thor, because the man is shredded and humongous. It's ridiculous. But a great film for all those Marvelites. I really liked the first Thor. Obviously, the most grounded. And then we have, let's see, this is Thor: The Dark World. That's 3, isn't it? Let me see here. Yes, this is the third one. God, what was the name of the second one? It was I can see the cover in my head, but I can't remember the name of it. I have it, obviously, but Thor 3, I really liked Thor 3. I thought it had a good amount of action and interesting kind of stuff going on. Or was this the second one? God, I don't know now. I'm second guessing myself. Because we had Thor Ragnarok. Was Thor Ragnarok number 3? Was this number 2? Well, anyways, that's a good. Natalie Portman's beautiful. That's all I got there. Let's see, we have the original Avengers. This was such a big thing in 2012 when this movie came out. Holy crap. Or maybe 2013. It was right after my daughter was born. 2012, yeah. And I remember the day that this movie came out, I had bought a Captain America First Avenger leather motorcycle suit. It was my last big purchase before my daughter was born. And it arrived the day that we were going to go to the theater. Sorry, I was making noise. I wanted to make sure nothing was broken inside. Anyways, it arrived the day that we showed up at the theater. And, my friends and family were like, try it on. You should wear it to the movie. And God, thank God I didn't, because it came with all this internal protective padding, because, I mean, it is a motorcycle suit. And I would have died. I mean, there was such limited movement because there was padding everywhere, and every move you made, there was a internal piece of padding in there. I tried it on that day, and we have pictures of me wearing it, but I'm so glad I didn't wear it to the film and sit there for 143 minutes. I probably would have lost 10 pounds in sweat. But we were all so excited to see this movie, and it still lives up to the hype. Honestly, it's great to have all these characters together, and Marvel did it the right way over years, rather than poor DC trying to catch up and shoving it all in one movie. Sorry, I have a drink over here because I was hacking up a lung a couple nights ago. I still have the Captain America suit. I took all the padding out. Even then, it's really uncomfortable. You have really limited movement. It's this suit. So it's this Captain America 1 suit. It comes with the boots and the gloves. It's beautiful. But, this star is metal. So you have very limited movement. The shoulders, you have limited movement. The pants aren't too bad. The boots they strap in. But it's the fact that this star is metal, I think, is the biggest part, because you have no, like, the chest here. your chest is stuck in place because of all these straps and the star. Um, so I mean, it's a beautiful suit. I wear it every now and then for Halloween. I have to kind of dye it before I do, and honestly, I can't really be to an extent. I can't be too bulky like lifting weights either, because it is compact. um, and then recently, I bought a Captain America shield. They had the Captain America Winter Soldier TV show shield on Amazon on sale. And, for previous years, I just had one of those cheap Halloween ones. And when I saw that one on sale on Amazon, I picked that one up because it's like heavy duty plastic, and it's much better made than any of those Halloween things. So I have one of those now. I'll have to dye it one Halloween coming up and put this on again with a new shield. Um, Captain America 1, I loved it. We saw it at a drive-in. Probably not the best place to see it, but I'm a huge Captain America fan. So I mean, I was one of those kids that rented the old Captain America straight to DVD movie over and over again. So I'm legit. But I liked this one. Thought they did a good job with it. Chris Evans did a good job. I don't know how he got that bulky and fit in this suit. I bet you honestly that he had to slim down to get into his version of the suit too. Because I mean, in that scene where they do the serum and then he's like humongous, I honestly don't think he would have fit in the suit. Let's see, next up we have Iron Man 2. Not as good as Iron Man 1. This was the one that had, what is his name, Whiplash. I mean, the problem, honestly, with Iron Man is that Iron Man has crappy villains. I mean, if we're being realistic about it, he just has crappy villains. So, they didn't have a huge amount of things to draw on. I mean, really, name like more than 2 Iron Man villains. You've got that evil family of the evil family that does the same thing as him as far as like building weapons, and then you have like a whole bunch of totally like D-lister guys like Whiplash and stuff like that. It's just not a very good rogue gallery. So, and Marvel Studios to an extent was still getting their feet under them. Great casting with Scarlett Johansson. She's drop dead gorgeous. But apart from that, not the most memorable movie there. Let's see, totally out of left field, we have the Phantom of the Opera. This is the Joel Schumacher movie with what's his name? The guy from 300. What's the name of the guy? Gerard Butler. There we go. As the Phantom. Me and my wife have always been huge fans of the play or the musical. We take our cousins whenever it comes locally, and I thought they could have a good idea with this. This is honestly the kind of movie that Joel Schumacher should be directing instead of Batman. Where you can have colors and songs, and it's not totally degrading a character. But if you've never seen the stage play, this is well worth a watch if you're interested. I think I've seen this like 4 or 5 times, honestly, at least, and they do a good job. I mean, Gerard Butler's not known for his musical chops, but if you listen to the soundtrack, they got it out of him. So let's see, a movie that I couldn't remember last time. This is Clash of the Titans. I couldn't remember the name of it. these old Ray Harryhausen films. I think this by far is probably everybody's favorite. I also loved all the, well, not all, some of the Sinbads. I used to rent those all the time. Um, but I mean, some of those Sinbads are really good, and some of them are really long and boring. But Clash of the Titans is by far the best Ray Harryhausen special effects movie, and keeps you entertained the entire time. So this one's well worth a watch. You forget like how many different things they got going on in this movie. Let's see this one. So this is Dusty. Let me dust every single thing I'm dusting on my pants. This is the Phantom of the Opera stage play that they released for the 25th anniversary. They filmed the stage play at the Royal Albert Hall in England, and released it on DVD with some special features. Like they have a whole bunch of the Phantoms walk out and do a song with the original Christine Daae, whose name is just left my brain. But it's really interesting and fun to watch. I'm not a huge fan of the Phantom they had in this one. Ramin, his voice is a little bit higher than I like. I like the Phantom to be a deeper voice. He's one of the more higher pitched Phantoms, but I mean, well worth the watch to just see what the stage play can be in a big theater and in all its glory. If you ever see when they do the tour, it's worth seeing. But those can be, it depends on the theater you're at and how much they can fit in there. This is Bob Ross. This is a collection of paintings of lakes. 13 30-minute episodes. I used to take a nap to Bob Ross's show every Saturday morning. I would turn that on, and the, rich ASMR of his voice would lull me to sleep, and I would fall asleep most of the time until the end credits, because they were always so loud, the song. That would always wake me up, but he put me to sleep within 5 minutes. I never saw him finish a painting. And you guys living now, you don't understand how lucky you are that all this media is just at your fingertips. I mean, I can go on Hulu now and watch all of these in order, or I think he has a YouTube channel too that has all of them. But in my day, if I wanted to watch Bob Ross after it went off syndication, or if it wasn't Saturday at 10:30, I had to find a DVD. So I have a couple of these, just because at the time it was such a good sleep aid for if you wanted to take a nap. Let's see, this is honestly a pretty recent ad. This is Batman Forever. I didn't hate this one. I think Jim Carrey is annoying as hell. I mean, look at him. He's just annoying even just in this picture. I just want to smack him. Look at him, man. What the hell are you doing? And Tommy Lee Jones, Jesus. I don't know what Tommy Lee was thinking. He's the most over-the-top MFer. It's a weird movie to watch because Val Kilmer, I think, is taking it kind of serious. Nicole Kidman's taking it kind of serious. Even Chris O'Donnell to an extent. But these two are just eating scenery. And it's just, man, I mean, imagine Tommy Lee Jones if they didn't make him so bright, and if he actually tried, it might have been worthwhile. But you put him with Jim Carrey and they start freaking bouncing off each other, and it's ridiculous. I feel like I've just complained my way out of liking this movie, but I liked this at the time. It was okay. We saw it in the theater. The video game for the SNES sucked, but in the theater we liked most of it. I I mean, there are good parts of Batman Forever. It's just there's a lot of really bright, colorful bad parts too. And Nicole Kidman in this dress is a good part. Um, and I think Val Kilmer, if he had been given a couple more, would have, been a decent Batman. It's just he's going against these two scenery-eating nutcases, and it gets lost, honestly. Let's see. Next up, we have Hellboy, the original one by Guillermo del Toro. This is my favorite Hellboy. I know a lot of people like Hellboy 2, but I liked Hellboy 1 the most by far. It's just a lot darker and more interesting to me. I thought everybody was cast really well. The special effects and the story were great. I forget his name, but the guy with the knife hands is freaking amazing. But by far, I enjoy this twofold over Hellboy 2. I wish they had done more with these two, but I know Mike Mignola and Guillermo I think they kind of butted heads in some ways because, Guillermo is very specific about what he wants to do in a movie, and, at the same time, it's Mike Mignola's, character, so I think they were probably at odds a little bit too much for a third one after Hellboy 2. Sorry, the mailman just made a surprise visit. So this is Hellboy 2. I do like this lenticular cover where it goes from the Mike Mignola to the Ron Perlman. There we go. I like Hellboy 2 in general. I did find it a little bit long, and I don't remember if it did do well in the theater because it came out the same time as Green Lantern, and none of us knew if Green Lantern was going to be any good. So these two movies were kind of fighting each other in the theater for views, I think. I think I ended up seeing Green Lantern first just because I did love the character, and I loved, at the time we had the Jeff Johns series going, but then the movie turned out to be kind of junk, so I think I saw that one first and then ended up seeing Hellboy like the week after and enjoyed Hellboy more. We're gonna do these as a twofer. And honestly, one of these things, it's a little weird to see. Okay, so this is Superman 2, the original, which it's weird to see the Twin Towers there. And then this is the Donner cut, which was released much later, because originally the Superman 1 and 2 were filmed at the same time, and Richard Donner wanted certain things in Superman 2 that ended up being put into Superman 1 and vice versa. So this Donner cut, which was helped along by Jeff Johns years later, is basically, what he wanted Superman 2 to be, the cut of the movie. And then this is the theatrical cut, which, I mean, I like Superman 2. It's the one where, Zod and all them come down, and he's having, comic booky fights for the first time. So I've yet to watch the Donner cut, not because I don't think I'll like it, I just haven't had the time to sit down and do that. But, those are, Superman 2 is a must-have. Superman 3 is not so much a must-have, but Superman 2 is a must-have. Let's see, going back to the Dark Ages of Marvel, we have the Ang Lee Hulk. say, I think, you know, if you're in, if you're my age, like in your 40s, you remember that for the longest time, superhero movies were just not good. You wanted them, but they were not good when you got them. And I feel like the late 90s, early 2000s, we were all excited because we knew that, you know, special effects had gotten to the point where they could do these movies, but all these studios had the rights to do them, and they were not doing them very well. So this was made by Universal, pre-Marvel Studios, and obviously Ang Lee wanted to make a deeply psychological movie about, like, I don't know, child abuse and, you know, weird stuff. So we didn't really get the movie that we wanted, really. I mean, I did like that he kind of did those comic booky swipes and things. I mean, he tried, but he wasn't the guy for this movie. I was okay with Eric Bana. Where did Eric Bana go, by the way? The man was like a hip thing for a while, disappeared off the face of the earth. And I mean, some of the special effects and stuff are great. The Hulk looks cool, but they don't have him. I mean, he's not doing anything a lot of the time. A lot of the time, he's just running around, you know, being sad. So it was, you know, it wasn't really what anybody wanted from a Hulk film. I will say and I have it somewhere. I have a, here, actually, let me go find it really quick. Okay, this is my copy of the special edition Incredible Hulk. And this, if you haven't seen a Hulk film, is what you want. This is the one with Edward Norton, and they still have Jennifer Connelly in it, strangely enough. But this is just action packed. This is by far, honestly, the best Hulk solo film, Incredible Hulk. You know, he gets to fight the Abomination. He gets to punch stuff. He gets to growl and go roar. This is the movie. And it's got cool packaging. See, another early Marvel film that I didn't like much. This is Ghost Rider. I know Nicolas Cage really wanted to make Ghost Rider, but I think the director, I think it's Tim Story. I don't think he really knew what to do with this movie. And then you have these weird demony dorks as like the bad guys in this one. Just not the best. You know, they were trying. You know, Eva Mendes in this, she looks beautiful. Just drop dead gorgeous. If I was Nicolas Cage, I would also become a demon ghost to go after her. But I mean, you know, we got Wes Bentley from American Beauty, you know, Oscar level actor, and they make him Blackheart, and he just kind of doesn't know what to do. I don't think I would either. Just not a very well written movie, honestly. And it's cool to see a guy with his head on fire, but that's really all this movie had going for it. Sorry, that DVD wasn't closed. We have Superman the movie, the original. You know, classic stuff if you've never seen it. I did love when they made Superman. Was it Superman Returns, right? That was the name of the Bryan Singer one. When they used the Marlon Brando dialogue for that teaser. Oh my gosh. You know, that theme song plus the Marlon Brando voiceover on that Superman Returns trailer, we were all so excited. And then the movie wasn't great. Honestly, I've never been a fan of the Gene Hackman Lex Luthor. It's too campy for me. Um, it's I want Lex Luthor like from the animated series where he's rich and he's powerful and he's smart, not not campy like Real Estate Hound. That that was not my jam. But apart from that, good movie. Okay, I'm looking at the pile and I don't think we're gonna get through all these, so we're just gonna do some of this next pile and then leave the rest for the next installment here. Let's see, this is They Live by John Carpenter. Classic 80s sci-fi, kind of, 1984-ish type movie, starring Rowdy Paper. And this has the longest uncut fight scene in movie history, where Rowdy Piper and his co-star here just beat the crap out of each other in a alleyway for about 20 freaking minutes, and that's why you get the movie. I really like this campy, like artistic representation of the film that they've done for this collector's edition. We have Tombstone. I've honestly never sat down and watched this thing, but I love westerns if they're done well. And I've always heard that this one's done well, so at one point someday I will sit down and actually watch this film, which is 2 hours and 10 minutes long. I just have so little free time that 2 hours and 10 minutes is like, okay, that's my free time. But, when I saw this at Walmart for like $5 on the DVD Blu-ray bin, had to pick it up. This film I forgot I owned until I was taking it out of the cupboard. This is Grandmaster. It says it's inspired by the true story of Bruce Lee's master. They made, I think, 3 or 4 of these films about Ip Man. Obviously, there's the Ip Man movies, which are actually just called Ip Man, and then these are the the kind of the other. It's like they had one studio in China making those, and then one studio making these. I've heard these are better, at least more true to life. It's got Tony Leung as Ip Man, and Xi Zhang from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Totally forgot I own this, but I've heard it's, the better of the films, so. An absolute classic, we have American Werewolf in London. By far honestly, probably the best werewolf movie ever made. Guy is backpacking in Europe, he gets bit, and there we go. And we have the, just the gruesome transformation scene that was done with, special effects of the 80s. And he just does a great job. It's really, honestly, it's just an entertaining film overall. But, kind of one of those groundbreaking 80s horror movies. If you've never seen it, worth picking up. This is the full moon edition, apparently. Let's see, next up, 2 movies I've never seen, but I want to. Shelley's Frankenstein a few years later, which is Kenneth Branagh plays Dr. Frankenstein, and Robert De Niro, of all people, I believe, is, the monster, quote unquote. Um, so I picked these up, Halloween. It's always easy to pick up horror movies, and I think they had this as a, I don't think it was $5, but it was on sale, and I knew I wanted both, so it was like, well, hey, get Bram Stoker's Dracula, which I've always wanted to see, and Mary Shelley's is for free, basically. So let's see, Star Trek Into Darkness. I know not everybody liked this new generation Star Trek. I honestly liked the first two films. I never saw the third, but this one, with Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan, I thought it was really entertaining, and if you grew up on the Star Trek films and the original Wrath of Khan, I thought this was a good way of reimagining that. I think me and my wife saw this in the theater, because I know we saw Star Trek, the new one, in the theater, and I think we did the same for this one. So I like that one. Those first two are worth it. Let's see, up next we have the John Pertwee Complete Season 4 Doctor Who DVD. I've been trying to get these on Amazon when they go on sale and put them on like my wish lists, because I haven't seen a huge amount of classic Who. So, being able to get them on TV, or Blu-ray I should say, and have the complete season is, fun. I mean, I've had a good amount of time reading these little novelizations, so might as well have the actual program too at this point. Sorry about that. Plus, I just love these covers. They're so evocative and cool looking. Let's see, just a couple more. We have the Phantom of the Opera. Now this is this is the Hammer Horror Phantom of the Opera, so it's not a musical. It's just a horror film. And this one, honestly, kind of hard to find. I picked this one up. I think I found it on eBay, or not, maybe on Amazon. But the Hammer horror films are always interesting. So it's got Michael Gough of Batman '89 fame. Michael Gough played Alfred in Batman '89. He's in a lot of these older Hammer horror films because he was a British actor. For instance, he's in the Christopher Lee Dracula film, the first one. So, sometimes you'll see rather famous actors in these Hammer horror films. Let's see, next up we have this special version of From Hell. This one I know I got at Walmart, because sometimes they'll have these, just kind of, that's just cardboard on the front of the DVD, but it's like a cool looking cover for the DVD. This is the Johnny Depp film about Jack the Ripper, based on the graphic novel by Alan Moore. And honestly, I loved this thing. It's very evocative. It's pretty gruesome, but it's entertaining as heck. I know Alan Moore never wants a name on these things, but he is a good writer. It's a suspenseful film. It has its own version of who Jack the Ripper was, and it's really a great film from the Hughes brothers. So if you've never seen that one, well worth a watch. Let's see, this is the redo of the Magnificent Seven that came out a few years ago. with Denzel Washington and Chris Pratt. I picked it up just for fun because it was on the cheap, and I'd heard okay things about it. Yeah, entertaining as hell, it says. I don't think it was, anything groundbreaking, but again, a cool Western film. I do love some six shooters, so, you know, stylized six shooter stuff like that is good stuff. I'll watch those. So, picked that up on the cheap. Let's see, this one is Rasputin, the Mad Monk. This is another Hammer horror film based on the monk Rasputin, who was a advisor to the Russian Tsar during World War One, and he's kind of known as a crazy historical figure. He is played by Chris Lee, which honestly, I mean, they must have done fake tan on him because he doesn't. This doesn't look like Chris Lee, right? You can't really tell that it's him. I'm not sure what they really do with in this movie, because I mean, Rasputin was nuts, and I know that he was hard to kill. They stabbed him, shot him, poisoned him, threw him in a bag, and threw him into a freaking ice cold river to kill the man off. Maybe that's the entire movie. Just them trying to kill Rasputin and him not dying as quickly as he should. Let's see, this one is beyond high definition. That's interesting. Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis, the original one. Great movie. I was never a fan of the other ones. I don't think I've seen any of the other ones. All you need is the original. I think I might have seen a little bit of one of the remakes, but that was about it. But I mean, the original is always the best and lives up to it. Let's see, we have Megamind. I liked this movie. It was entertaining. Doesn't get as much love as the other superhero animated movies of the time, like The Incredibles. But I liked Megamind. I never saw number 2. I think that was direct to Paramount Plus or something. I heard not good things. So, but this first one, the first one was entertaining. Another of my Halloween pickups for cheapies. This is Dracula Untold. I haven't watched it yet, but I remember seeing the trailers and thinking it looked interesting. We got Luke Evans here, and it's supposed to be kind of, halfway historical, so it is Vlad the Impaler, but obviously some supernatural stuff goes down here, because I don't remember Vlad the Impaler having cool bat created wing capes. But it looked like they could put a good amount of money into the film. I'll say that much. And then last two that I picked up on the cheap one day. Rambo. This is the original First Blood. And then the much more action-oriented First Blood Part 2. The first one is really more of a thriller, having to deal with more with PTSD than honestly, really big action stunts. But then Rambo, the second one was the action film where he's jumping around, killing entire groups of people by himself. Classic 80s action film in comparison. So, I got those on the the cheap one day. I think at Walmart or Target or something. Actually, yeah, I think it was at Target. They had, I think maybe that Rambo, the newer one, had come out to the theaters, and they had these on the rack. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll pick up Rambo for like $5. Let's see. I think that's where we'll leave it for today, guys. Because we're coming up on we're over an hour here. So we have easily enough for part 3, 4, maybe even 5. Because I have 2 stacks over here that we didn't even get to. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.